and welcome back to my kitchen. Today's episode is dedicated to my friend Janine. This is going to be a very special weekend because she is making her very first cake from scratch, and it's carrot cake with amazing cream cheese frosting. It truly does not get any better than that for your very first cake. And we talked about different recipes, but her heart just really was set on this one. And it's going to be a beautiful carrot cake made from scratch, no special equipment, no nothing. Make sure you stick around to the end because I'm going to show you how to make perfect cream cheese frosting without having to let your butter or your cream cheese soften for like 17 hours because no one has time for that. And before we go any further, I would love if you guys would please subscribe and then press the bell below so that you get notified every time that there's a new episode. Alright, let's go make some carrot cake. Alright, we're going to start with our dry ingredients. There's no particular reason why, I just find them annoying, so I just feel better when they're done. So we're going to use the spooning method. And the way this works with flour is instead of dunking our measuring cup into the flour, we're actually going to take a spoon and just very lightly just pour the flour on top of the measuring cup and then level it off with your finger. And then pour it in your bowl. And the reason why we do it this way is if we were to dunk our measuring cup, we would probably get more flour than we actually need. So this just helps keep everything consistent. Okay, flour done. Now I'm going to get the other dry ingredients together. And don't worry about watching too closely what I'm doing. I'm going to have the recipe linked below, so you're good. Alright, I just added some baking soda. And now we're going to add some kosher salt. And that really just brings the flavor out and everything, which is completely necessary. Now our cinnamon. Now I'm adding cinnamon and nutmeg because I feel like warming spices in a dish like this that's just homey and comforting is just completely needed. So I'm just going to go a little crazy with it. Yeah, maybe a little more. There we go. And then I'm just going to add a few dashes of nutmeg, just because it's amazing. And I feel like cinnamon and nutmeg go together like peanut butter and jelly, so you just got to do it. There we go. We're going to give that a quick stir, just so that everything's combined. All right, our dry ingredients are done. So I have been using my muscles and whisking together this oil and this sugar really, really well because we're not using hand beaters here, right? Everything is by hand. So we want to make sure that enough air gets incorporated with the fat and that sugar so that we have a really light and beautiful cake. So I'm going to keep whisking and then I'm going to show you what it looks like. Okay, that's good for now. So, do you see how it's thickened up a little bit? That's what we want. So now I'm going to measure out my eggs. And I want 4 eggs, but I'm putting them in the mason jar first, so in case there's those little shells, they'll sink to the bottom instead of going to our mixture. I got the side on that one. Whoops. It's okay. It's not going to be perfect. Just rust it, right? Okay. In they go. And I'm going to keep whisking for the rest of my life. Forever and ever. We're getting there. Okay, that is perfect. I'll show you what it looks like. Do you see? See how thick and beautiful that is? Perfect. Okay, we are going to sift the dry ingredients into the wet ingredients. And the reason why we're doing this is because when you sift the ingredients, yes, you break up any lumps that might be in there, but you're also incorporating more air. And again, we want a really light, really beautiful cake, so that's gonna help. But if you don't have a sifter, don't worry. Just mix everything in and it'll be great. There we go. cinnamon. It already smells like carrot cake in here. Okay, so I'm gonna stir this together with a rubber spatula, only until it's about 90% combined, and then we're gonna grate some carrots. It's coming together. Okay, we are almost done mixing this together. So now it's time to grate some carrots. I'm gonna use a box grater, and I'm just gonna use like the biggest hole. I don't know what you call that. The biggest. You're just gonna use the biggest hole on your box grater. Let's go. I think I have carrot in my hair. It's okay. We're almost there. Okay, now I used 2 giant carrots, but if you have 3 smaller ones, that will be great. But be sure to save the ends because you can use it for a vegetable stock some other time. Just keep it in the freezer. Okay, beautiful. Now, do you see how I'm folding everything together? I'm not just like attacking it with the spoon. I'm going around the sides, lifting it up, and then once I get to the center, I turn the bowl. Do that again. This way, it really protects the batter so that we don't knock out any of that air. We're just very gentle. There we go. Okay, everything is almost combined, so now we're gonna add my favorite part. We have 1 cup of nuts. I'm using walnuts, but you can use pecans, anything like that. Just give that a nice turn. Oh, it's looking so good already. So our batter is done. It's a really thick batter because we added so many carrots in there, and plus obviously the nuts thicken it up a little bit too, but it's gonna be perfect. All right, now it's time to spur our casserole dish. Now I'm using a 9x13 casserole dish because that is what Janine asked for. And what you ask for, you get. So now I'm just gonna fill up my dish and pop her in the oven. Alright friends, are you ready for the trick of how to make amazing cream cheese frosting? Thought so. So all you have to do is combine 8 ounces of cream cheese with 4 ounces of butter, which is just a half a stick, into a saucepan. And I then put it to the lowest temperature possible on the stove. And with a whisk, I just very lightly stirred everything together as it started to melt. Now I did it this way because since we're doing everything by hand today, today's our old school day, it just seemed easier. It seemed like that would be a much better way to have a smooth, consistent frosting than having to worry about lumps of cream cheese because maybe we didn't whisk hard enough. And we just want everything to be easy and wonderful for Janine. So I removed it from the heat and I've just been stirring it around until it looks like all the lumps have disappeared. It's been about 5 minutes or so and there are no lumps and it seems like everything is cooling down. I'll show you what it looks like. So this is what the cream cheese and the butter look like once they've melted after about 5 minutes of whisking, and there are no lumps. Do you see how smooth and gorgeous that is? And that is all by hand, baby. Okay, now we're gonna add the rest of our ingredients. We need about a teaspoon or so of vanilla. More the butter, I think. And then a pinch of salt, because everything under the sun needs some salt. Beautiful. And now we're gonna add our powdered sugar. Can you hear Hazel, right? Okay. So I like to sift my powdered sugar whenever I'm making an icing, because I think if you spend all that time making something and there are lumps on the top, I mean, no thank you, no thanks. So we're gonna start with about 2 cups and see how that goes. Oh, hi Hazel. I don't think you're supposed to be eating that. I have my own little Roomba. And then I get impatient and then just use my hands. Okay, let's see how it's gonna do. We're just gonna thin it out with about 2 tablespoons in there. Smells so good. Just smells like a cream cheese party. I don't know what that is, but I want to go. Okay, let's give it a taste. You guys, that is ridiculous. Okay, just needs a little bit of salt, and then it's perfect. Absolutely perfect. Oh my gosh. I have never been a fan of frosting because I always thought it was too sweet, but this is the perfect balance of rich, delicate flavors. Oh my gosh, so good. All right, now we're gonna check on our cake. It's been in for about 40 minutes or so, but I'm gonna show you how we can tell if it's done. Clean. So our cake is done. You know it's done when that toothpick comes out clean and it feels springy to the touch. It smells gorgeous. I smell all that cinnamon and nutmeg. It smells like heaven in this kitchen right now. I cannot wait for you to try this. Okay, so I'm gonna let this cool for probably about 30 minutes or so. Then I'm gonna top it with that gorgeous cream cheese icing. Oh.